want to recite?
Yes. We'll start with refuge, page 10, עמוד 10 בעברית, and then the four measurables in Hebrew prayer.
יש עוד שם. לעוד מישהו חסר? למורה.
יש. Taking refuge, page 10, and then four measurables in page 11, we're reciting in Hebrew. בבודה הדרמה ובקהילה הלאית, ובקש נגלת עד להערה. באמצעות המצבורים של הקשבה לדרמה, הוא השיג בודהיות לאלוהי ליצורים הנודדים. בבודה הדרמה ובקהילה הלאית, ובקש נגלת עד להערה. באמצעות המצבורים של הקשבה לדרמה, הוא השיג בודהיות לאלוהי ליצורים הנודדים. בבודה הדרמה ובקהילה הלאית, ובקש נגלת עד להערה. באמצעות המצבורים של הקשבה לדרמה, הוא השיג בודהיות לאלוהי ליצורים הנודדים. ויזכו כל בעלי התודעה מאושר ובגורמי האושר. ויפרדו כל בעלי התודעה מסבל ובגורמי הסבל. לעולם לא יפרדו כל בעלי התודעה מאושר וכל כאב. וידבקו כל בעלי התודעה את מידת ההשתוות ללא מסור הפנים של היקשרות ושל סלידה.
산제 주동 소지 쇼는 더 전류 보는다는 얘기로 다시 소지에 손에 돌아 이제 산제 그거를 주고 산제 주동 소지 쇼는 더 전류 보도 다는 얘기로 다시 소지에 손은 이제 놀라 현재 산제 그거를 주고 산제 주동 소지 쇼는 더 전류 보도 다는 얘기로 이제 다시 소지에 손은 돌아 현재 산제 그거를 동인이지 총도 주변상 진짜 선생가 연대로 창도 힘든자로 소원들로 전혀 그런 점 수로구나 따위에 맡겨서 타버는 거죠. 대외기에 타비에서 선생 신년 남자 차즈 Okay, so how's everybody doing? So I'm very happy to be in kibbutz, Yakin. Is that right? Almost right. How do you say? Yakin. Almost there. Anyway, kibbutz. It's a. When I heard about kibbutz. So, kibbutz in Tibetan, it is happy. So it's interesting. So this time last post is in kibbutz, and that's kibbutz. So in happy land. So now we are in kibbutz. To maybe some are looking to learn something new. Maybe some people maybe wishing to improve their practice, and some people wondering this yellow dress wearing person has something new things to say. So I'm not an expert, and it's very professional one, but still I do have a name called Rinpoch, and this name, can you hear me? Okay, but this better.
this name comes with their own responsibility. So, and then so this kind of responsibility is from my past life. So he became a debate partner and then afterwards a teacher to His Holiness Dalai Lama. And somehow he became quite beneficial to so many people. And then afterwards he passes away, and then his students and His Holiness start looking for the reincarnation. And that's me. They found me. So I'm happy that I don't know if I'm the right person or not. The real reincarnation is really complicated, because when we talk about past and future life, it is not something black and white we just can decide very quickly. But it takes logic, and then you have to think about it, and then you have to see some benefit whether there's past and future life or not, right? So coming these days, 2 days tomorrow, starting from tomorrow and day by tomorrow, we will be talking a little bit about it. So somehow I have this kind of duty, and then I call it unfinished business of my past life that I have to continue. And so I get so many opportunities to improve my practice. And most of you, I guess, a student of Gengyasula, and I'm also a student of Gengyasula. And then I learned from him and from through his teaching, and from also His Holiness Dalai Lama. And I have some other teachers. So my past life taught something in England. They put it a kind heart. The topic is the kind heart. So when first it was you or Gila?
Gila first.
Gila, right? So came with this topic and said, we would like to invite you to Israel, and then she came with this idea. So I was thinking what to teach. And then she came with the idea that my past life taught some teaching called a kind heart. And then she thought it would be quite nice if I can try it again. So then when I heard that, then I said, okay, then afterwards, maybe 2 days later, then I watched on YouTube and searched kind heart because I couldn't remember anything from the past life. And then I searched it, and then I just go through his teachings, and then I found quite interesting. And I feel like, well, it will be interesting to share with all of you about that. So this is what I'm going to talk about. So in this, I will read it a little bit so you will get the idea of what I'm going to say for starting from today. A kind heart. So my full name is Tsenshab Serkong Rinpoch. So it says Tsenshab Serkong Rinpoch will give a short overview of Buddhist path and its practices as tribute to his predecessor, the late assistant tutor and the debate partner of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who taught this topic in 1982. 1 year before he passed away. I really don't know this way, or how you call it, concept?
Concise traditional.
Okay, concise traditional introduction to the practice of Buddhism, starting with the four thoughts that turn the mind towards spiritual practice, the precious opportunity of human rebirth, actions and their results, death and impermanence and suffering, nature of cyclic existence. Realizing these leads to the mind of renunciation, the determination to be free from cyclic existence, and to be developing of the resolve to activate bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, on this basis of love, compassion, and a kind heart. So you got it. So we are done now. So all the Ramrim, it's inside there. Okay. So maybe just put it like this, right? Okay. Good. So first, let's talk a little bit about the renunciation. So most of are quite familiar with the practice, right? So I should be very careful about what I'm saying, going to say. So let me start with one story that my teacher, Gen Tsenshab, who is also a student of Tsenshab. So when my teacher Gen Tsenshab was at age of, I think, 19 and 20s, so he has so much wish to become a good practitioner. So that good practitioner means that he has already learned some materials of Buddhism about the refuge and then bodhicitta, emptiness. He has learned because he is in his 20s, and then he went into the classes. So very sharp-minded student of Tsenshab. So then one day what happened was, like, he was not really happy what he knows everything, but then he felt like when there is no flavor of renunciation, and then you know everything, what does this mean? You can explain, and then looks very intelligent, but then you cannot, you know yourself, then your mind goes out, space out, and then all this attachment comes out, and then he feels this. So he felt like, well, I should go and visit one great master, and then also he is known as a great practitioner during that time. So that Geshe-la's name is Geshe Yeshe Tongden. Do you know Geshe Yeshe Tongden? Maybe somebody know about. So he stayed in the doing meditation in the Dharamsala. There is a TCB, the Tibetan village school there. So above there, there is so many meditation, not a cave, but in house there. So very elderly monk, and then very well known, and he has so many students. And I think Gengyazula is also a student of that great practitioner. So my teacher went to see him, and then he offered one kata. Kata is the Tibetan scarf that I just offered. So to that master, and then master said, how can I help you? And then my teacher said, well, I'm studying this and this textbook, and so up to now I'm trying my best to practice. But if some people ask me some questions, I definitely have some answers to that. But still I feel very unhappy because I cannot feel that I'm doing it right, because there is no renunciation inside me. And then what happened was Geshe Tomten, the monk, I looked at him and said, it's Tibetan style. He says, even he knows a lot, then he says, I don't know nothing. I don't know. Like Gengyasula, right? Yeah, always. He knows everything, like almost everything. He said, no, I don't know. And then maybe afterwards, maybe 2 years later, he will just open his mouth and just give you small tips. So, same thing. The Genla didn't say anything, and he said, this is a really tough question, so I'm still looking for it, and then I'm not also happy with my life about this. And then he poured tea and gave lunch, then slowly they start talking about other things, and then suddenly that my teacher thought it would be very rude if somebody else doesn't say you can leave, and it will be unpolite to say I will leave, because he felt it is Tibetan custom. He would feel like it's unrespect to the teacher. So then he said, maybe you have to practice, so I will leave. And he said, no, it's very early, so have a dinner and go. And then he said for dinner. So then after dinner he said, now I will go and leave you in peace. And then he said, okay, so wait. Then he puts his hand under his bed, looking for something that I can give this monk something. And then he takes out like 200 rupees. And then he puts another hand under bed, and then he finds a pair of socks. So then he gave this card that he was offered by my teacher, and then he read everything and gave it to him and said, so I feel that you are doing very well. So it's a very good question, but very hard question. Then he said, think about impermanent. And I'm still thinking, and I think this is the only best solution if you think about impermanent. So this is the only answer that he gave. So my teacher knows about impermanent can help to what we call it, generate the renunciation. So then he thought, because my teacher was thinking, I'm looking into this Lamrim textbook, and then he felt like this is not enough. So then he went to the teacher, and then the teacher said, this is the only way. So he went back and he started looking deep into the text, and then put all the logic. Slowly he found the impermanent is the only way. So not only the my teacher is saying, then also my past life, when I watched that video, so I put a note on that. My previous life said in a very beautiful way. He said, let's remember the kindness of Buddha. First teaching when he gave about Four Noble Truths. So then when he taught about the truth of suffering, so then he taught about, in order to think about the truth of suffering, you need to realize a little bit about the impermanent. So then, before he passes away, his last word is, the teaching is on impermanent. So, beginning permanent, at the end permanent, so it proves that my past life things, how important it is. Without thinking anything about the impermanence, there's no way to achieve or generate renunciation. So now if thinking about impermanence is important, then let's, in the before the Buddhism, in Hindu and other religions, they talk about impermanent. The mostly what they talk about impermanent is that the body that we have, physical body, it is impermanent. We can see from when you're infant, very what we call soft, and then very cute hands, small, right? So then slowly we grow up, and then we grow older and older. Then we see so many differences on our body. So then, at the final destination, you can feel now. Some says that the soul goes out, and some says the consciousness leaves the body. So that we how we recognize our death, right? So in Hinduism, some they talk about impermanent, but they only talk about the impermanent of body, not of the soul or the Atma, is what they call it. So that's why Buddha taught we have this kind of influence, but not due to the what we call it from the teachings of the teachers or from knowing from the other textbooks we were reading it, but in habitual thoughts we do appear like this. So that's why Buddha, when he gave the first teaching on suffering, then he said, in order to know the suffering, you need to know about the impermanence, not only the body, also all the five aggregates. So now there are many ways to think about impermanence. When you look outside, and then we talk about 4 seasons. Because why there's 4 seasons? Because it shows an impermanent. It cannot be stay always winter. So when winter is end, then what autumn and the summer and all this appears, and in the different colors and different environments, right? The green tree grows into yellow, and then something there, no leaves, looks like very sad, and then it grows up again. It shows all this kind of impermanent. But then we sometimes we forget, put that into ourselves. Then maybe we are thinking that we really don't need to think about this. This is just reality. And we believe this is it. We are born and we die. So this is reality. So don't think about the death. Just enjoy what you have. This is more how we always think like that, right? So it's my way of thinking. So one time I was thinking like that, well, why I have no worry of dying? So I felt like, well, I have nothing much to lose. So this is only example on me. So I felt like, well, if I have something to lose, then what I will lose then? In future, if I gain my knowledge, and then I quite become this kind of the intelligence or the knowledge I gain, then maybe very helpful to others. Then certainly I feel like I have to leave this body, and then I might feel I'm not ready because I think I can do more, but I want to live more. So this is the worry. If you have something to lose in the house, then you will always lock the door very safely. If you don't have nothing to lose, then you can leave the door open, right? So maybe for me it felt like that way. So same thing when you feel that you can do much in your life. So, and then use your intelligence to solve the problem of this life and the next life. So then what we call it the determination, is that right? Determination of, right? Who said that?
Determination.
Oh yeah, you said this. Determination of this life, free from this life, and then the next life. So this is the goal that when we talk about renunciation, so we are focusing on these two. So if we are clinged to this life and the pleasure of this existence or appearance of this life only, so we are so focused, so we don't look to the far sighted, so to the next life. So even you're thinking about only pleasure and to become just reborn as a human and doing much anything, maybe continue your business maybe or something. So then you are not thinking, you're just thinking of next life only. So, but then we always forget that wherever you are reborn, that you have to face the suffering. Because why we have to suffer? Because we are based on what is that? Very silly, Shelley. So, a destructive emotion, and then and karma. So you know karma, right? So yeah. So in English it is called action sometimes, right? But then one of my past lives translator, Alex, so he always tells me, don't use this word. He is very strict with his terminology. So he says, use impulsive behaviors. So this is the right word, he says. Because he has some kind of a logic, because he says, when you say action, then it is something like you do it, then stop. You walk and you stop. But when we talk about karma, it is not like you do it and then stop. It is continuously going on, moving on, right? So that's why he thinks that the terminology for the karma is not the action.